and I remember that I attended the launch of your events back in January, and one of the major events that I know is coming up as part of the celebration is the Gala Ball for Self-Advocates on December the 2nd next. Are you all looking forward to the Gala Ball?
Yes.
Bet you are. Yeah. And it's on the 2nd of December, and that won't be long after the inauguration of our next president. So I hope you'll all be inviting me. Will you?
Yeah.
Great. So it is a great honour to be here and to take part in this discussion. And I have always been inspired by the work of Inclusion Ireland. You have led the way, truly led the way, in making people and policymakers aware of the rights and the needs of people with an intellectual disability. And I think in many ways, we in Special Olympics have followed parallel tracks with you towards the same objectives. Because in your determined and independent advocacy, you have pursued the inclusion of people with intellectual disability as full and equal citizens of Ireland. And in my lifetime's work with Special Olympics, we have been determined to ensure that their inclusion and their full citizenship through participation in sport. In your work, people with an intellectual disability have been seen as citizens with pride and dignity. In ours, they have been seen as citizens who could represent their clubs, their counties and their country with grace, skill, determination and courage. Both Special Olympics and Inclusion Ireland are totally non-political organisations in the truest and best sense of this term. And being non-political doesn't mean turning a blind eye to injustice or ignoring neglect. It means that we both pursue our objectives without being beholden to any political system. Our only agenda has been the agenda for the welfare of people with an intellectual disability themselves. And our principal task in both cases has been to break down barriers of discrimination that lie between people with an intellectual disability and their right, which is their full citizenship and participation. And many of those barriers, as we know, have tumbled as a result of your work and my work and our work, and principally as a result of the courage and advocacy of people with an intellectual disability themselves. So I find it shocking, for example, that one of the first consequences of the recession was the effective shelving of both the Disability Act and the Education for Persons with Special Education Needs. And it's grossly unfair that people with an intellectual disability were expected to pay for the failures of public policy by having to endure 2 successive cuts in a very modest disability allowance which they receive. So my pledge this morning is that I will do everything in my power to pursue the objectives of fairness, of inclusion, and of people with an intellectual disability living a full life in society. So what I'm saying to you this morning is that if I am the next President of Ireland, people with an intellectual disability will be directly represented on my Council of State for the first time ever, with the proper supports that are required in order to undertake and discharge their duties. I will ensure that if no one else is prepared to insist on the highest possible standards in every centre of residential care in Ireland, the President will, with as many visits as is necessary in every part of the country, will drive that message home. I will be proud also to act as your patron, and I have been already committed to setting up a number of conventions on various different aspects of Irish life, and one of those will be in the area of employment and disability. The President of Ireland belongs to the people of Ireland. I want the next President to make sure that every citizen, every single citizen, is equal and feels equal. I have spent a lifetime being inspired, and I want passionately to spend the next 7 years ensuring that people with an intellectual disability are honoured and respected as full and integrated members of our society. That's their right. That's what we have to fight for, and I want to be a big part of that. Thank you.